Good afternoon, this is your Sunday, September 1st tropical update where Hurricane Dorian is now a 185 mile per hour Category 5 hurricane. Talk about rapidly strengthening over the past couple of days. This is insane. 185 right now, that's what the hurricane hunters have found. Makes it the second strongest hurricane ever on record in the Atlantic Basin. If it gets to 190, it's going to be tied for first. And with 185 mile per hour sustained winds, we're just going to have to pray for the people who are under this hurricane, and I'll get to that in a second. But with 185 miles per hour, that leads to 220 mile per hour gust, and this is just like an EF4 tornado with storm surge, flooding, and wind happening over a long period of time, going on hours and hours on end, sometimes 24 hours. But talking about where Dorian is right now, it officially made landfall on the Great Abaco Island just a couple hours ago at around 1 p.m. September 1st, and it is completely smacking the island right now. It's going to be complete devastation and just completely ruin the economy for months to maybe even years. In Marsh Harbor, where around 6,000 people live, the direct eye made landfall there, and it's just a perfect circle. And you could see how people during the eye, which was like 20 to 30 minutes, they took videos of all the damage. And it's just scary knowing that that's only half the storm. You still have another half to go, and that other half is Dorian slowing down. It's scary. Dorian right now is moving west at around 7 miles per hour, and today is going to be that ever famous second turn. So Dorian made that first turn to kind of get it into that position where it's like kind of stalking at Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach, but now it's going to take that second turn to the north to kind of make it go adjacent to the Florida coastline. But the question is, how close is Dorian going to get to that Florida coastline before it makes that turn? Because that's ever important, because right now the National Hurricane Center puts it around 60 miles per hour, not 60 miles per hour, 60 miles off the coast at around Jupiter, Florida, and it just has it 60 miles all the way up the coastline. But there are some models like the HWRF and the Canadian model that do have it making landfall north of Cape Canaveral, in between Cape Canaveral and Jacksonville, Florida. And then we have models like the GFS and the European model that has it completely offshore until a landfall in North Carolina Thursday, Friday. We have a bunch of time for like the Carolinas to iron out those details, but the details right now for the Grand Bahamian Island and the Great Abaco Island, they're just going to be completely wrecked by Dorian right now over these next 12 hours to 24 to even 36 hours. That's how long Dorian's going to stay there, because it's about to become stationary for a long period of time, and then the high pressure weakens, and then it has room to move up north. It is just, looking at all those videos of the damage, I'll roast them right now. Of the devastation that's happening in the Abaco Island right now, it kind of hurts my heart. It just pulls on my heartstrings to see people go through that. It's scary right now, and it's not like they could go anywhere because it's the Bahamas, it's an island, it's not the peninsula of Florida. But anyways, Dorian is at its strongest right now. It is kind of expanded its wind field over the past 12 hours. And it's cleared up that eye, and it's kind of getting covered now due to some land interaction, but it's going to further weaken over the next 24 to 72 hours due to upwelling, which is like the churning of the ocean waters to bring up that cold water from the bottom of the seafloor up to the surface, and then the hurricanes use that colder water, and that of course weakens a Category 5 hurricane, which needs all of that warm water to continue strengthening. So it's going to start weakening soon, but my gosh, Dorian's impressive. And as for like the possible effects on Miami, Miami, you're just going to see a couple rain bands trickle in, and that's just going to bring winds of like 20 to 40 miles per hour. A little north to like West Palm Beach, you're at risk of the possible hurricane winds, or maybe hurricane gusts is even more likely. We'll just have to see. Keep on checking on your local weather station, the National Hurricane Center, because Dorian could be trickling a little bit to the west. We're going to have to see if it makes that turn tonight, because if it doesn't, everything changes and we could just toss all those models that have it offshore out the window. We'll see how Dorian turns out in the next 24 hours, and this is going to determine everything. If not, if it does stay offshore, even in Hurricane Matthew, which stayed offshore the whole entire time in 2016, killed about 14 people, 11 in Florida and 3 in Georgia. So this is nothing to mess around with, even if it stays offshore, because you're still going to get that coastal hurricane winds and a good amount of storm surge, especially to major cities like Charleston, South Carolina. But anyways, that's all that I have for today in this afternoon tropical update. Stay safe, everyone, and make sure you bless them. Peace out.
3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's up?